Back here at home, we continue to follow a big story affecting the greater Memphis area. Shelby County Commissioner Edmund Ford Jr. has been placed on leave without pay from his city job with library services. Now, this comes as the mayor wants to put a pause on the commissioner's handling of county grants. Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris joins us now to talk more about the latest on the fallout since Ford's federal indictment. Mayor Lee Harris, welcome back to the 3 p.m. Good to see you as always.
Thanks a lot for having me.
My pleasure. We know there is a presumption of innocence until proven guilty, but you didn't waste any time yesterday coming out with your statement about Mr. Ford and what should happen with the grant funding program. Why so?
Well, I think there's been an investigation by the federal authorities into some of the practices at the commission and particularly into Commissioner Ford. At the same time, we've got a grand jury that's also reviewed some of that investigatory material. And all of those have concluded that there's a reasonable suspicion that Mr. Ford has committed really corruptible acts. And so while we don't know whether he is guilty or not until he's had his day in court, we do know that that's the appearance, and that appearance can sometimes taint some of the work of Shelby County government and the commission. So I've asked that during the time of his prosecution for criminal corruption, that we put a pause on his ability to continue to make grants, which is the subject of the criminal corruption accusation that he's the subject of.
I know, Mayor, conversely, though, there are some who might say, well, the grant funding program has done great work in the past. Do you not agree with that?
Well, I'm definitely not in favor of the grant program. I think that programs like that can end up being a slush fund. I'm not calling for the end of that program right now, but in general, programs like that are very terribly difficult to monitor, and they can end up being slush funds. And in the worst case scenarios, like the ones that are contemplated by the U.S. Attorney in this particular case, they can become corrupted. And so we'll have to see how this case turns out, but no, I'm not in favor of these kinds of slush funds that one individual elected official can dole out at their discretion, because sometimes these things can become corrupt.
Sure. While this could potentially affect so many people, including, commissioners and those people who benefit from this program, what's the next step here? Do you meet with other attorneys? Do you meet with other county leaders? What's next?
Well, we certainly have not done enough, because we know with pretty high certainty that Mr. Ford is likely to come to commission tomorrow and do business as usual. And this is not a business as usual moment. And so we've got to do something to demonstrate to the community that we are taking this seriously. I've laid out some steps we might take. One is we need to cut off his ability to make additional grants until we can see whether or not he is guilty as accused. Another thing is I'm going to meet with the county attorney and the chairman of the commission tomorrow, along with a few other folks that can bring informed opinion around what we might do additionally to protect the county, but also to make sure that the public knows that we're taking this seriously.
And Mayor, quickly here, what about your own working relationship with Mr. Ford himself? Has that been kind of thorny at times?
Well, I think most people don't have a good working relationship with Mr. Ford. I think obviously his style is prickly, is more prickly than most, but that's beside the point. I mean, this is not an issue of personality clashing. This is an issue on the substance of we have a grand jury indictment with respect to criminal corrupt activities dealing with that grant program and Mr. Ford, and a lot of accusations right now, and so we've got to deal with those. But obviously he's not a friend of mine, but I don't think he has many friends.
Interesting. And I do want to hear that Mr. Ford has entered a not guilty plea. He's out on bond and is scheduled for a court date on Thursday. Moving on, I do also want to ask you about Regional One. It's a future campus. Where do you stand on this, especially with there being so much talk, Mayor, recently about maybe the old commercial appeal building being used as the future site? Is that a good move?
Absolutely. So Regional One, of course, right now is led by Reggie Coopwood, and Dr. Coopwood has led Regional One for many, many years, and he's really transformed that place, right? It was on the precipice of disaster when he came in, and now it is financially stable, and in the last several months, he's articulated a bold vision of what a rebuild of Regional One could look like. And so working with us in Shelby County government, we have purchased the many, many acres around the commercial appeal building, and we plan to turn that into the new Regional One. That's going to be a gateway to the downtown, and that's going to be a connector between downtown and the medical district. And so we're all very, very optimistic.
One last question here for you. Have you gotten any more feedback about this possible state takeover involving MSCS, the school board? Where do you you stand on that right now? Have you heard with any? I know you've met with some state lawmakers.
Well, I've been to Nashville many times talking about this issue. I think cooler heads have prevailed. I don't think this is going to happen, but we've got to be wary. I mean, obviously, a state takeover would be bad. We know that the state is not in a position to run a school district. They don't have those kind of competencies, and so that's not a place where they should be involved. I think there are some things that we could work on, like some of the empty buildings. I think we can work on those things together, but I think a takeover is bad, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris, as always, thank you very much.
Thanks.
I do appreciate you being here.
Sure.
All right.